Hello, everyone. Thank you for signing on to today's Amtrak Vacations presentation on round trip rail vacations. My name is Jared Kettinger. I am your host of the presentation today, and I'm so excited to have all of you folks on with me. Now, folks, I do always like to start off my presentations with a virtual roll call, so to speak. Number one, it's a great way to direct you folks to the questions box on the side of the GoToWebinar platform. So, where you can type in any and all questions you may have for me that will get answered at the end of the presentation today. But also, particularly in regards to this subject, and of course, to see where you're dialing in or calling in from, type your name and what city, state, location you are dialing or calling in from on the presentation today, right into the questions box on the side of the GoToWebinar platform. I will go ahead and get us started. My name is Jarrett. I'm calling in from Mount Pleasant, South Carolina. And right off the bat, we have Tony from Tucson, Janet from Santa Rosa, California, Nancy. Oh, well, wow, we're getting so many people quickly, faster than I can go. Nancy from Bluebell, Pennsylvania, Irene from Thousand Oaks, California, Bill from Washington, D.C. We have Janet and John are happy to be here from Sacramento, California. We're happy to have you, Janet and John. Donna from Delaware County, PA. Sarah from New York City. Joyce from San Diego. Linda from Round Rock, Texas. We have Connor from Terryville, Connecticut. Adrian from San Diego as well. Aggie from Altoona, PA. Natalie from Delaware. Bill, Bill's in here. We have June from Syracuse, Nikisha from Memphis, Tennessee, Gloria from Florida, Fiza from West Hartford, Connecticut, Bill from Rochester, Minnesota, Charles from Holland, Michigan. We have Jessica from Chicago. Let's see, we have Lori from Penfield, New York, Alan from Scottsdale, Clint and Erica from South Carolina. Let's see. We have Ann from Salem, Oregon. We have Bill said he's from Fairbury, Illinois. Mick from Bossier City, Louisiana. Terry from Lubbock, Texas, and so on and so forth. Folks, excellent. Now, folks, feel free to be just as energetic and interactive as we continue on with the presentation today. And that includes typing in any and all questions you may have for me. Now, what will we cover on today's presentation? Number one, some important things to know about traveling by way of the train, including what the cabins look like and what some of the benefits are booking the cabins on board the train. Popular destinations for you to consider for your next rail vacation. How we can route you on your vacation from your hometown, even as the title of the presentation would suggest, round trip from your hometown. And also how Amtrak is maintaining a safe environment given the pandemic and everything going on. Now, folks, it's important to note that there are two extremely important, relevant brands here. Of course, Amtrak Vacations is the brand hosting the presentation today, but we have two of note. Amtrak Vacations, which is Amtrak's national vacation partner, where we do send you out on your wonderful rail vacation travel on the rail systems for leisurely, scenic, beautiful travel cross country, where we incorporate the hotels and sightseeing in the destinations pre-packaged for your leisure experience. And then as the world opens back up, borders start opening up and people start feeling comfortable, and of course, the government's allowing travel, our international brand Rail Bookers is very similar to Amtrak Vacations, where we prepackage the hotels, sightseeing, and attractions with the international rail travel experience as well. And where can you travel to by train? Well, folks, everywhere on this map, you're seeing a colorful red line. That's a route that Amtrak travels upon. Everywhere you're seeing a star is a destination where Amtrak Vacations has a package that we can send you. Again, where we incorporate the hotels and the sightseeing all bundled together with that rail travel experience to get there. And then everywhere you're seeing a little white dot, that is a train station all across the USA. And as you folks are also seeing, even up into Canada, where you can start your rail trip from. Now, of course, with the borders to Canada closed right now, that has to wait until those open back up. But folks, I want to point out that when we mention we can send you round trip, that can be including from your most local station. Whether you're coming from Altoona, Pennsylvania, Hastings, Nebraska, Gallup, New Mexico, Austin, Texas, Tampa, Florida, Boston, Massachusetts, Paso Robles, California. We can send you to start and end, aka going round trip from your most local hometown station. And because we can customize our trips to fit your particular travel needs, you can start and end close to home. Yes, no, maybe so. Does that make sense to you folks when I say that we can send you round trip from your local station? Feel free to type yes or no into the questions box as we go along. Now, when you're ready to go, we're ready to go. And by that, I mean we have pretty much covered in terms of all safety and health concerns, how things are being handled on board Amtrak for your travel, such as the enhanced cleaning protocols have been activated by Amtrak and Amtrak Vacations, so that the stations and the trains themselves are being cleaned daily, multiple times daily. Because we have added brand new HVAC systems on board the trains, the air on the trains are being filtered and cleaned every 4 to 5 minutes. Facial coverings, masks, are required to be worn for both Amtrak staff as well as any travelers in the stations and on board the trains. That's everyone. Because we can provide e-tickets, it allows for contact-free travel. Amtrak and Amtrak Vacations is limiting the amount of bookings on board the train so we can allow for more physical and social distancing. And as always, we can provide your own sleeper compartments, your own cabins on board the train, as we always had on many of our routes. And it's important to note that as we have seen a huge increase in inquiries and demand for people who have vaccines in their arms and are ready to travel, or are even just excited to inquire or look at vacationing, we can book you from last minute to up to 2023. So again, folks, we can book from today up to 2023. So short term or far in advance. Important for you to know. And here are some very important reasons why travelers love Amtrak Vacations. Number one, when you are booking over the phone with an Amtrak Vacations consultant, you are dealing with someone who is themselves a rail expert with expert knowledge so that they can help you get on the best routes during the best times of travel so you can have your best vacation. Again, folks, we can have you book to depart from today or last minute to up to 2023, up to 2 years in advance. We have our maximum flexibility for our travel so that we can have you travel to whatever destinations are available on any date at any length of time, as long as they are available and the train is going there. So it's unlike the cruise lines or a company that might run an escorted group trip where you only have select dates that the company is operating for you to choose from. You can travel pretty much any date, anytime, as long as there is availability to go to where you're going and the train is heading there themselves. Folks, just so you know that with Amtrak Vacations Rail Bookers, we are the largest rail vacation provider with so many selections, from luxurious international rail travels, multi-country journeys, extending beyond cruises when the world opens up, or just traveling domestically in major, mid-size, and even smaller US cities. And no rail trip is it's too complicated for us. Now, folks, I keep getting questions regarding whether you're going to get a copy of this PowerPoint. You are not. However, we do upload our webinars to our Amtrak Vacations blog the day after the presentation. So we are not able to send you a copy of this PowerPoint of these charts, but you can find them on our Amtrak Vacations blog tomorrow. And folks, it's back. The exciting Pick Your Perk sale event. So that when you upgrade on your next rail vacation with an added perk on us, you can save. And what does that mean? Well, imagine, folks, you are over on the phone putting together a rail vacation package with an Amtrak Vacations consultant. And you've let them know that not only do you want to travel on one of our wonderful rail vacation packages, but you are looking for a sleeper compartment on board the train. Well, when they upgrade you to a sleeper compartment, you can save off of some great other alternative upgrade options, such as upgrading your hotels from a 3-star hotel to maybe a 4 or 5-star at a destination. Or maybe you don't upgrade the hotel itself, but the actual hotel room you are staying at, we can upgrade you on. Or if, say, you want to extend your stay, maybe the package you're looking at does 2 nights or 3 nights at a destination, and you want to turn that 2-night to 3-night or 3-night to 4-night. Or even just add extra activities. On any of the above situations, we can help you save off the total top cost of the package. Simple as that. And all of our rail vacations, folks, are customizable. That means, for example, doing as I just mentioned by adding an extra night. Or as I keep harping on, doing round trip from your local hometown, starting and ending the trip at a station close to you. Upgrading your rail tickets to sleeper compartments on board the train, or even on adding on extra destinations to the packages themselves, so that you can customize the rail trips to fit your particular travel needs, requests, and bucket list desires. Now, I keep highlighting round trip itineraries. What does round trip mean? Well, that could mean taking an existing itinerary, such as the Northern Rail Experience. That itinerary starts in Chicago and takes wonderful scenic rail travel from Chicago out along the northern part of the country to Seattle, and then going down through Oregon and Northern California to San Francisco, and then back to Chicago. Well, perhaps you're looking to start from Washington, D.C. We actually have a couple of folks from Washington, D.C. on the presentation today. I know that. I saw they put their names for it. Welcome, folks. Well, perhaps you want to start in Washington, D.C. or Pennsylvania, or going from Los Angeles or going from Texas. Well, we can help add on to go round trip from a certain destination. Now, for example, Washington, D.C., like Chicago, like New York City, like Los Angeles, that's a major hub for Amtrak. And so we could actually add on a stay in the hub itself, such as a night or two in Washington with a hop-on, hop-off sightseeing tour where you can get on and off the tour at your leisure, or an admission to one of the great museums in Washington, D.C., and then head out on the trip. So say you're doing a trip up into Glacier Park by way of Chicago, and you want to add an extra night in Chicago prior to the trip. or a trip like this in DC, or going to the Grand Canyon from Los Angeles and you want to add a night in Los Angeles before heading out. No problem at all. We can always add that on. And then on this itinerary, from here, you will travel out along the northern part of the country and eventually head out into Seattle. Now, folks, as I mentioned during the Pick Your Perk sale event, when you are upgrading to certain areas along your vacation package, you can save off the total cost of the trip. For example, say you are doing a trip to Seattle and you want a scenic view room to get a great view of the city. This would be one great example of that, where when you upgraded the type of room to a nice scenic view, you may save off the total cost of the package during the sale event. Now, not just Seattle, we'll also include a visit into the Bay Area of San Francisco. And it's worth noting our vacation packages with the hotels have hotel options at 3, 4, and 5-star levels, but also areas all throughout the city. For example, in San Francisco, you may be wanting to stay more down by Fisherman's Wharf. We have options there. Or maybe more in the shopping and theater district. We have some options for that. Or maybe in another area of San Francisco, you can choose where you stay, at what level of hotel, and we will arrange all of that for you. So again, folks, this is an example of an existing package, the Northern Rail Experience, that includes travel from Chicago out to Seattle, Seattle down to San Francisco, and then back to Chicago, and then adding on a round trip from Washington, D.C. Now, folks, as you look at any of our maps, wherever you see a red arrow with a number in it, that's the amount of overnights included on board the train. Wherever you see a bubble with a number in it, that's the amount of overnights at a hotel at the destination. Simple as that. Next up, we have the Grand Rail Experience. So this itinerary is round trip from our hub in Chicago. Now, I like to reiterate, again, you could be starting in Chicago. You could be starting in Washington, D.C. You could be starting in Los Angeles. You could be starting in Altoona, PA. You could be starting in Connecticut. You could be starting in Louisiana. You could be starting in Missouri. We can add the train to depart from whatever local station works best for you. That being said, this is a good example of an itinerary that goes round trip, starting and ending in the same spot, in this case, Chicago. Now, on this journey, you'll travel on a big loop throughout the United States, first on the Empire Builder, traveling along through the northern part of the country, up past the northern lakes, the northern plains, and eventually out into Seattle, before connecting after a couple of nights in Seattle on the Coast Starlight, which regularly ranks as the second most scenic rail route on the Amtrak system. And I think you folks can definitely see why, as you'll be traveling right along the Pacific coastline of California. Having been on this route myself, it really has a great nostalgic feel. It's so amazing, folks, traveling down, sitting back, relaxing, and watching the waves of the ocean crashing along as the train itself is heading along the coast. From there, you will connect through Los Angeles to go overnight on the Sunset Limited, eventually making your way to the city that care forgot, New Orleans. Now, again, we are currently in the midst of the Pick Your Perk sale event, where there are some benefits to inquiring with Amtrak Vacations on upgrading to certain upgrades such as extra tours, upgraded room types as we highlighted on the Seattle portion, or in New Orleans at the famous Hotel Monteleone right in the French Quarter. This is the epitome of a four-star hotel in New Orleans. It is right in the heart of the French Quarter. It is very, very French feeling with its architecture, its high-end style, and very famous for the Hotel Monteleone is the Carousel Bar, which was actually built out of a historic 1800s carousel that actually still rotates as you are sitting down for a nice cocktail in the bar itself. So definitely worth inquiring, especially on the Grand Rail Experience package with your Amtrak Vacations consultant about upgrading to the Hotel Monteleone, especially during the Pick Your Perk sale event. On this package, after New Orleans, you'll continue up into our nation's capital, Washington, D.C., for a stay in D.C., where we have the Monuments by Moonlight tour, which is an excellent tour out to some of our most popular monuments to visit in DC, such as the Martin Luther King Memorial, the FDR Memorial, the Vietnam War Memorial, the World War II Memorial, so on and so forth, as the monuments are lit up in their glory in the evening time. So this, folks, is the Grand Rail Experience, a key example of a round trip rail journey. Next up, I wanted to dive in and talk about some of our popular national park trips, including our top destination, Glacier National Park. Yes, Glacier National Park is our top seller here at Amtrak Vacations. In fact, our top selling package is the Glacier National Park Getaway. For some, Glacier Park being our number one might be a little surprising for you. Well, there's a reason for it. The train itself, the Empire Builder, drives right up to the door of the eastern end of the park. And from the door of the Glacier Park train station to the door of the Glacier National Park Lodge at East Glacier, it's only 209 steps up a walk path. And folks, our packages are very comprehensive because they include 2 to 3 nights at the Glacier Park Lodge itself, with sightseeing throughout the park, including the Big Sky Circle Tour, done on the historic open-top red buses that you can see featured in the slide here, that travel all throughout the park, driving over the Going to the Sun Road, heading down to St. Mary Valley, and stopping at the historic Isaac Walton Inn. And not only do you get a full day guided tour on the Big Sky Circle Tour, but we also include a very scenic, very serene boat cruise known as the Two Medicine Valley Cruise that is included within the package as well. You can see this itinerary indicated the Glacier Park Getaway is 4 days, 3 nights, but you're not seeing the train included or starting from anywhere. Again, that is because we can add the train on to start wherever your local station is, or from one of the major train stations that are on the Empire Builder route, either Chicago or Seattle or Portland, Oregon, or again, just from wherever the station is closest to your home. Next up, a good example of not just a round trip rail journey, but also a trip to another national park is the Rails to the Grand Canyon. This itinerary starts and ends going round trip from Los Angeles on the Southwest Chief, but we could have you start from Chicago or again, another station close to home and start and end from there. And from here, you will go overnight on board the train on the Southwest Chief down to historic Route 66, Williams, Arizona. On this itinerary, upon arriving into Williams, you will actually board another train, the Grand Canyon Railway train, which will travel through the desert and Ponderosa forests to connect you from Williams into the Grand Canyon Historic Village at the South Rim. Now, on our packages to the Grand Canyon, for the travel on the Grand Canyon Railway, we always include the travel in coach accommodations on board the Grand Canyon train. However, I would be missing out if I didn't highlight the upgrade opportunities, especially during the Pick Your Perk event, where you can inquire with an Amtrak Vacations agent to upgrade to first class, which includes more plush, comfy seating and refreshments, and a better vantage point for sightseeing on the ride, or observation dome, so you can sit on the upper level in the domed car service, or even the luxury parlor class, which is styled like an old 1800s bar car, available at the back of the train, where you can see it's highlighted here where there's an open air platform at the back of the train for the deluxe parlor car service travelers to stand out and breathe in the fresh air and enjoy the wilderness that you're traveling through heading to the south rim of the canyon. Also, because we're talking about upgrades, I would highly advise you seeing whether there's options to upgrade when staying at the south rim of the Grand Canyon. Now, folks, one key example of this would be the El Tavar, which sits on the canyon rim, though we have some other options as well. The El Tavar being arguably the most famous and most popular lodge at the historic south rim of the Grand Canyon. So that, folks, is the Rails to the Grand Canyon itinerary, another key example of a round trip rail journey, in this case, starting and ending in LA. And now last, but as you can see by what's included in the agenda, certainly not least, the Grand National Parks with Yellowstone, Yosemite, and Glacier National Park. One of the reasons Amtrak Vacations is popular is that we can connect you by way of rail to multiple destinations all on one vacation itself, because the train connects all throughout the United States. It can not only just help you connect to multiple destinations on one vacation, but in this case, multiple popular national parks. In this case, Yellowstone, Yosemite, and Glacier. Yellowstone being the first established national park in the United States. Fun fact, before it was actually titled Yellowstone, it was very nearly called Wonderland National Park, because the beautiful nature in this area of the country itself is a natural wonderland. Whether it be the geothermal features below the park, creating the hot springs and the geysers, such as Old Faithful, seeing the abundant wildlife such as the bison, the bear, the wolves, the hawks and eagles, as well as just getting out and exploring the open air wilderness of the park itself. Now, you will actually stay in Yellowstone for a couple of nights there with a guided tour of the park. Now, a little different for this itinerary, after you finish with Yellowstone and continue west, we'll have you staying in San Francisco, which it works beneficially because San Francisco, major metropolitan city, multiple hotels for you to choose from at 3, 4, and of course up to 5-star options. But we include a full day guided tour out to Yosemite National Park. So what will happen is you'll head out in the morning. You'll head out to do a morning tour of the park, seeing El Capitan, traveling to visit a few of the waterfalls in the park, and then actually you are dropped off in the park by the tour itself for about 3 to 3.5 hours for you to do some exploring at your leisure and on your own before we deliver you back to San Francisco at the end of the day. Now, once that is over, we send you up north into Seattle, and then overnight, eventually arriving in Glacier, where you will stay for a few nights at the Glacier Park Lodge on the eastern end of the park, where all of the tours and the sightseeing take out of you. Folks can see in the back, you can see the red buses for the Big Sky Circle tour. And there's a couple of different upgrade options that you should inquire about, whether it be a room with a balcony, or to see if we can include breakfast, daily breakfast included within the package itself. Because again, when you're adding on extra sightseeing, extra inclusions or upgrades during the Pick Your Perk sale event, depending on how much you upgrade to, we can actually help you save overall off the total cost of the package. So you'd actually be adding on additional enjoyable options to then have money taken off. Sound good to you? Sounds good to me. So that, folks, is the Grand National Parks with Yellowstone, Yosemite, and Glacier all on one trip. Now, why book now or currently? Well, number one, as I mentioned earlier in the presentation, we are seeing a huge abundance of people inquiring about availability for travel for 2021, whether it be to the national parks, whether it be going cross country in one of the cabins on board the train. We're going to talk about those in a moment. But you can also kind of cover everything when you book now, because we have a maximum flexibility offer to all of our customers who book new reservations through June 31 of 2021. That will allow you the freedom to change dates or even the duration of the trip or even the destination of the vacation without incurring any change or cancellation fees. Simple as that. And folks, packing for the train when you're ready to go is simple and easy. You're allowed 2 carry-ons per individual of up to 50 pounds each, and 2 check bags per person or per individual of up to 50 pounds each. And that's completely free. There is no cost to it whatsoever. And folks, checked luggage can be checked in as close in as 45 minutes to an hour ahead of time. So it makes it real simple for you. It's not like the airlines and the airports where you have to get to the airport 2 hours, 3 hours if you're going international. You can check your luggage as close in as 45 minutes to an hour ahead of time. And an hour to an hour and 10 minutes ahead of time is roughly when we suggest getting to the train station. Now, what is it like on board the train? Well, number one here is coach accommodations, which are 2 big plush, comfy seating with a plenty of legroom, a nice big picture window to enjoy all the sights out of, and that is the standard. Now, folks, obviously right now you're seeing the folks sitting there. This picture's a little outdated. No one's wearing a mask. If you are traveling on Amtrak in coach, you are required to wear a mask for the duration of the trip. That is simple as that. And that is for everybody who's congregated in an area together, whether they're traveling as an employee of Amtrak or a traveler themselves. However, when upgrading to a sleeper compartment, there are some extra added benefits, such as priority boarding onto the train. Whoever is booked into a cabin actually gets to board the train ahead of the general admission. And of course, your cabin comes with your own privacy door. As I've mentioned, if you're traveling on board the train or throughout the station as an Amtrak traveler or staff member, everyone is required to wear a facial covering. Everyone. However, once you are in your cabin with your privacy door shut, you can remove your mask, your facial covering. Simple as that. That is definitely an added benefit if I say so. And each of the sleeper compartment train cars have their own dedicated attendant who are going to continuously clean things out over the course of the day. They're going to come knock on your door to let you know when there's some scenic views coming by. They're going to provide the toiletries, some bottled water and coffee that is included in complimentary. And to give you an idea of what the sleepers look like, here is the first level, the sleeper roomette, which during the day has 2 big plush comfy seats facing each other, a nice big picture window to enjoy all the sights as you're whizzing by. As you can see, everything folds down to bunk style sleeping. accommodations. And here's what it looks like as things are folded out for the bedding in the evening time. Nice, comfy beds to relax in. Always great to sit back, read a book, enjoy all the scenery from the window as you're relaxing. And here's a bigger picture of the diagram. The roomette, as all cabins, is bunk style sleeping. That is the way for all of the cabins on board the train. Fits up to 2 adults per person. And again, you can bring 1 to 2 pieces of check luggage, carry-ons, etc. Now, the roomette's private restroom access is in the train car. Same with the shower access that is in the roomette car. If you wanted your own private shower and bathroom within the room itself, you could inquire about upgrading to a sleeper bedroom. That has the long couch, big captain's chair, still has that big picture window. Everything folds down to bunk style sleeping as well, but you have your own private bathroom and shower within the cabin. You can actually see the door to the left there for that private bathroom and shower. And you can see here, folks, the bigger version of the diagram for the bedroom. And again, highlighting the in-the-room restroom and in-the-room shower. And for those who might be traveling and need a room with ADA accessibility on the lower level of the train, of course, we have options for those as well. And whenever you're traveling on board the train with any kind of room, all your meals are included. And we're excited about the prospect of the full dining cars being reestablished on the trains for the summer. But as always, you can have your dining options provided right to your cabin itself. And the dining options, of course, can cover any dietary restrictions, allergies, etc. Now, folks, I see a bunch of questions have already come in. If any other questions are yet to come in, of course, type those in. A few upcoming webinars of note. Tuesday, May 4th, cross-country rail journeys. And Tuesday, May 11th, we have the National Parks by rail. And now's the time to type in where you might like to go. What destinations are you considering for your next vacation? Feel free to type that in to the questions box. All right, let me start off with some of the questions. So we had someone that asked, do trips leave out of Winnipeg up in Canada? And yes, actually they do. We could get you started in Winnipeg. Of course, right now, we're not able to do that because the borders are closed. But even if in normal times you did want to start in Canada, even on a round trip journey, we have done that plenty of times here, and we could definitely get you going. And as things open back up, can do that again. So the answer simply is yes. All right, and bear with me, folks. Again, we cannot share the PowerPoint presentations. We can't send them out. They are far too large. We're not able to send those out to people. It should be noted that folks, you will be able to access the recordings of the presentations tomorrow. They will be right into the blog on AmtrakVacations.com to watch at your leisure. Is Amtrak Vacations a separate company from Amtrak? Yes. We are not Amtrak themselves. We are Amtrak's national vacation company. So we are two different entities, but of course you should always book with us because we can book the full vacation. Someone's asking, or we get many people asking normally, but in this case, is it easy to get up into the top bunk? Yes, it is. It's one step and then a bar that you can use to access to get right up. So someone's asking, what are the beverage options included? And I think the question is, what beverages are included with the meals on board the train? Which that's any form of soda, soft drink, coffee, tea, water, etc. Alcoholic beverages are not included with the meals. However, of course, you can always order one. And if you have a sleeper compartment, you can bring alcohol onto the train as long as you consume it within your cabin itself. Simple as that. So someone asked on the maps, are the green and blue lines trains or buses? Very good question. On the map that I showed you, the red lines are Amtrak trains. The blue lines in Canada are Via Rail Canadian trains. The green lines in the United States are buses. Now, someone is asking if they have hop on, hop off privileges. My response was yes. In the major cities, on the hop on, hop off trolley tours, you do have hop on, hop off privileges to get on and off the trolley tours or double decker bus tours all throughout the USA. USA cities such as Seattle, San Francisco, Washington, D.C., what have you. If you're referring to hopping on and off the train, no, you will want to line up everything for getting on and off the train ahead of time with Amtrak Vacations, so it's all scheduled out. I answered the question, but yes, if you are in coach seats and you are sleeping on the train in coach seats, you are required to wear a mask. Now, these trips, folks, are independent travel. You are not with an escorted group of 20, 30, 40, 50 people, and so you do not have a guide for the entirety of the trip. I did mention this later on the presentation. This was asked earlier on. Are masks required to be worn in the cabins? No, once the doors to the cabins are shut. Does Amtrak Vacations offer travel protection for the packages to cancel? Yes, we do. Let's see. Someone's asking anything from Atlanta, Georgia? Yes, we do. From Peachtree Station. We absolutely can send you on a trip from Atlanta. Someone said, I will be traveling with my wife and 24-year-old son. Will we fit in a bedroom or do we need to book two separate roomettes? There are no cabins in which you will fit three people. You would have to book multiple cabins of whichever ones you want. Let's see. If I want a round trip from DC to San Francisco, is the fare quoted one way or both ways? Whatever you want. If you want to quote it one way, just ask the Amtrak Vacations rail agent that you're on the phone with, or ask them to do round trip. They'll do both for you. Many people pointed out, yes, there was definitely a spelling error in regards to June 31st. Of course, I know there are not 31 days in June. It's probably was from when this extended through May 31st, and we extended it to June 30th. Yes, I know there is no 31st day of June. I do apologize for the spell error. Can we make changes while on the train itself? No. So that is an important thing. If you are traveling on board the train on one of our trips and you want to make a change, you cannot just do it while on the train with an Amtrak conductor. You have to call into Amtrak Vacations to make the changes. You cannot willy-nilly make changes as you are traveling. You have to give us a call and let us know. Will there be Wi-Fi and cell service on the train? As for Wi-Fi, Wi-Fi is on some trains, not all of them. We wanted to have them on the majority, if not all, as established by 2020. As you can understand, there were many reasons in the way we could not get that established. We are expanding upon it, and it will get done. As for cell phone service, most of the time, having traveled on this myself, yes, you will have service as you're traveling through the more arid or desolate areas of the desert or the forests or the mountains. Cell service can dip. I've experienced that myself. Just sit back, relax, enjoy the scenery. Make a call when you get to the next stop. Now, someone said, if something is in a checked luggage compartment and I'm traveling on board the train, can a Amtrak attendant access that to check luggage to get me a T-shirt or a jacket or something? No, because the luggage is checked through to its destination. No one has. While Amtrak Vacations or Amtrak's conductors do have access to check luggage, they cannot just go into a piece of luggage and just get out a sweatshirt or a T-shirt or what have you. We would suggest packing what you want for the overnight duration of the train that you're going to bring on to utilize with you. You can't just send an attendant to go back and get a sweatshirt in your checked luggage. To reiterate, there are no rooms for a family of 3. We have plenty of people staying where they want to go. Glacier and Big Sur, San Francisco, Seattle, Chicago, New Orleans. As for single travelers, there is no special rate for a single traveler. However, we do not double charge you across the board like some cruise lines or escorted motor coach companies do. Now, if you are booking a cabin on board the train, a roomette or bedroom, you will have to pay for the full cost of that cabin. If you are booked into a hotel, you have to pay for the full cost of the hotel. However, you don't have to pay for, say, 2 forms of sightseeing if you're just one, 2 pieces of trip protection if you're just one. We would only charge you for the one. Someone said, let's see, more places where people want to go. Awesome. How long is the Pick Your Perk sale good for? I believe it's going through this Saturday. Let's see. Do you visit Cape Cod and Boston? We absolutely visit Boston. As for Cape Cod, we used to have extensions for sightseeing to Cape Cod. Obviously, last year that got held up. As the summer opens back up, we will see if we have those connection cruises to Cape Cod by way of Boston. Is there a bar car on the train? Yes, there is. The cafe car also doubles as a bar car. Can you bring on alcohol if you're staying overnight on board the train? Yes, you can, as long as you consume it in a sleeper compartment. That means you have to be booked into a sleeper compartment. Is wine available for purchase? Yes, there is. Simple as that. How about round trip from Emeryville or Martinez, California to San Diego? Also, can you book a hotel in Santa Barbara? And on the coast, Starlight in California's in Zephyr and Surfliner and then return? Yes, of what you're describing, yes. Do we help with booking tours at each destination? Answer, long and the short of it is yes. Is there refillable water stations on the train? There is refillable bottled water, or in the cafe car, they'll give you a cup of ice or water. As for having enough time at stations to buy food and drinks before boarding the train, usually on a connection, we buffer it so that you have time before connecting from one train to another, if that is your situation. Or we suggest, if you're having not boarded the train yet, getting to the station enough ahead of time to buy food, drinks, snacks before boarding the train. So you should have enough time. Then again, but always be safe and considerate. Let's see. What is the various transportation to national parks? Well, it really depends. It depends on the national park. With the Glacier National Park, the train goes right up to the door of the park. From the door of the train station to the door of the lodge, it's just a walk path of 200 some odd steps, and there's actually a shuttle if you don't want to walk up the path. With the Grand Canyon, you would take the Grand Canyon Railway, as highlighted on the presentation, into the canyon itself, into the South Rim. However, for other places like Yellowstone, there is a shuttle motor coach shuttle transportation between the closest train station, and it's for Yellowstone, that's Salt Lake City, and what have you. It really just depends on the national park. How do we get from the train to the sightseeing tour or place to visit or say hotel from the train station or whatnot? Uber, taxi, other, all of the above. That's a great question and a great answer. To get between the train station and the hotels and the hotels and the sightseeing, Uber, taxi, or if it's a short enough walk distance, all those are the answers. What are Amtrak options from San Diego? Honestly, San Diego is a major train station. There are over 500 different stations in the United States to go from. San Diego can connect you to all of them. We have a quick question. Packages from Philadelphia, where do they go? Again, 500 different train stations. We have nearly 100 different destinations we go to. Just pick it. Can independent itineraries be planned using Amtrak Vacations representatives? That's exactly how you're going to want to put together the itinerary and book it. The phone number's right there. As for military discount, yes, both active military and veterans will receive a military discount. As for, okay, again, there are no cabins that will fit more than 2 people. There are not cabins that will fit more than 2 people, other than a family bedroom, which will fit 2 adults and 2 very small kids. Now, if 4 people want to be in a cabin during the day, you can theoretically purchase 2 bedrooms that are adjacent to each other and have the wall removed. That is completely fine, but you will be together for both day travel and overnight as well. As for the funny June 30th date, that is to book by date. June 31st is we're all joking about here. That is a book by date, not a travel date. Are there outlets in the sleeper rooms? Yes, there are. To charge devices, yes, there are. If you have a bedroom unit, do you have full access to your luggage? There is a area on the lower level of the train where you can put a piece of luggage that you can access, even as the train is traveling. However, if it is in checked luggage compartments, you do not have access to it. Any trips to wine country? Yes, we do, whether it be the Napa Valley wine train or a guided tour by way of Paso Robles or San Francisco or even areas of in Portland. Yes, we do. If you are traveling alone in a sleeper and you are the only one in that sleeper, you are not sharing with anybody else. If you're a solo traveler alone in a sleeper and you obviously you would have paid for that sleeper, that's yours. No one else is in there with you. If you book a sleeper compartment, you are not restricted to that compartment. Now, again, folks, Amtrak is traveling at a 50% less capacity. That's 50% less people on board the train. That also means 50% less people in coach and areas of the train. And so you are not restricted to your cabin. But just know as you go out into the larger areas of the train to explore around, just know we are still enforcing physical and social distancing. Is coach seating for a single person just the same cost for 2? Uh, I'm not sure the exact question. The answer is no. If you're purchasing a coach seat for a single person, you don't have to purchase more than one coach seat. That's just the only one. We are continuing to do 6 feet apart in social and physical distancing as things continue on. Is there Amtrak offices to make reservations for Amtrak Vacations, or is it over the phone? Just over the phone. Between the hotels and the train stations, or the hotels and the tours, or what have you, is the Uber or cab cost covered by Amtrak Vacations, or you as the traveler separately? You as the traveler. When staying at a hotel, does your luggage come off the train to the hotel? Yes, of course. We would not separate you from your luggage. Various discounts beyond senior or military, you would inquire with an Amtrak Vacations consultant. Yes, senior discounts. We do not have anything to Mackinac Island in Michigan. There are no trains there. We are not affected by wintry seasons. I can tell you that. Yes, every once in a while there may be a little delay. So regarding snow, we very rarely have a snow delay. Gratuities suggested. Yes, we suggest paying. Giving gratuities to the dining car attendants or your sleeper train car attendants. Yes, it is suggested. However, as much that is totally up to you. Are there trains out of Syracuse, New York? Yes, there is. Is Amtrak Vacations connected to the Amtrak app on smartphones? For the Amtrak tickets, yes. As we're separate, we do separate with our own travel documents, but as for the train ticket, we should be able to provide it. Who handles the luggage at the various stops? If you're traveling through an employee or Amtrak manned station, as long as it is a full manned station, we can add on assistance with red cap at no cost. However, when exiting the station, traveling between the hotel and the train station, that is on your own. For other specific train stations, there are over 500. Give us a call, chat with an Amtrak Vacations consultant. We can look up. There are many, many train stations to pick from. Okay, I know there are some questions I did not get to. I've scrolled down to the bottom. I want to thank you all for signing on today for whatever questions I did not get to. As you can see, we are open from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday through Friday. Feel free to give us a call, chat with an Amtrak Vacations consultant. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day.